Today we have another BMW with an issue. This BMW is getting Vanos solenoid problems. There is many problems related to that issue, but the one we are getting is the one you can see on the screen right now. The problem is then the Vanos solenoid is not activating the system when it's cold and causing many issues. Drivetrain malfunction happens because of this, and we getting no power and the engine doesn't work well as a result. So the Vanos solenoid is this one right here. There is 4 of these on an N63 engine. You want to have 4 of these, 2 on each side of the engine. One is going to be for the intake side and one is going to be for the exhaust side. It's going to be called inlet and outlet. So exhaust is going to stand for outlet and inlet is going to stand for the intake. In the case of this one, this BMW, after doing a test, we can clearly see that the Vanos solenoid is not actually getting the enough angle that the computer is commanding, as you can see on the screen right now. That is the issue why the computer is calling then the Vanos solenoid is not operating properly. And this can happen to the intake side and the exhaust side, as I said before. In this case, was only the exhaust side, the one that was having an issue. To replace the Vanos solenoid, it is a little tricky. It's not that easy as it looks. It is easy once you get the idea on how to do it, but the experience on how to get to remove some of the bolts is not going to be that easy. To start, I'm going to let you know, then to access the Vanos solenoids, you have to remove the pre-cooler. See over here, the cooler over here, this is going to be the turbo interchange, heat interchange. This is the way it looks, but once it is inside, it looks completely different, as you can see that one. See? It looks smaller because everything is all together. The hardest part of this job is getting this one out. Why? Because there is 2 bolts and the third one, this one right here, is the one that goes on the bottom, which is that one over here. This bolt is the hardest one to remove because you don't have room to see where the bolt is located, and there is a very limited room to insert a tool. So you have to insert a very small 1/4 ratchet, just like this one, and flexible if it's possible, with a 10mm to remove that bottom bolt. Once you remove that bottom bolt, all the other components are going to be easy. You have to remove the hose that goes on top from the turbo to the cooler, and the bottom hose that goes to the throttle body. And it's gonna be this one right here. Always be sure to place something like this rag over here to cover the throttle in case something goes inside. Once you have this one out of the way, you are going to have access to the Vanos solenoid. These 2 over here are the Vanos solenoid, these 2 plugs, this one and this one. The one that is on top is the intake or the inlet Vanos solenoid, and the one that is on the bottom is the exhaust or the outlet Vanos solenoid. To remove this one is pretty easy. You just remove this bolt over here. This is a 10mm bolt, and you just spray this little cover, this little plate, just move it out of the way so you can remove it, and then you just pull it as hard as you can. Just be sure you don't break the solenoid, because if the solenoid breaks inside, it's going to be a very, very sad moment for you. So you just rotate it, press it, and once you get it out, it's going to look just like this one, as the one is this. The one we have over there is already replaced. It's the new one. This is the old one. So, but the new one looks kind of similar. It's not much difference on the looks. The new one is already installed, but there is one thing that you have to keep in mind. Once you are going to replace the Vanos solenoids, don't replace only one as recommendation. Replace the 2 of them. So we have 2 Vanos solenoids, right? Intake and outlet. The inlet and outlet, intake and exhaust, the 2 of them. If you are going to replace the inlet, you replace the outlet at the same time, because that is recommended If this one goes bad, this one could go bad at any time. So that's the reason why it's better to replace both at the same time. In the case of this vehicle, the owner didn't want to replace both of them because they were kind of pricing for his budget. But that doesn't mean then this is gonna guarantee it's gonna be okay to leave it like that. Probably in the future we will need to replace that solenoid, but that is his call. That is the reason why we are only replacing one. And as I say, it is not recommended, but if you want to do it, you can do it. It is not something that is going to happen like the other one is going to break just because you didn't replace it. No, but it's possible that it can happen. And the reason why you do both of them, because if for any reason the inlet in this case goes bad, you have to remove all these to replace the same one. It's not even, don't want to be worth your time, but to each their own. So this is how you are going to replace it. And the hardest part right now, once you have this one out and replaced, is going to be to install this one back, because you have this bottom bolt over here, and it's going to be this one, as I said before. So here is what I do, and this is a tip I'm going to give you. See what I did over here? I cut it. See, this is one piece together, but I cut it over here. This is aluminum, so it's pretty easy to cut it. So I cut it so that way I can give an entry to the bolt to insert it this way without having an issue to insert the bolt once this one is there. Because once you have this one in there and this bolt is in here, you have to find a way to insert this bolt. But if you do an opening to the bracket over here, you can insert the bolt right here, and then you can insert this one and make sure that this one goes inside there, and all you have to do is tighten it. It's going to be way easier. This is what I do, but you know, if you don't want to do something like this, it's up to you. It's not going to damage the pre-cooler, the cooler, or whatever you want to call it. It's not going to damage it because this is just a bracket, but it is not going to be the proper way to do it, because the proper way is going to be like that. But it's going to be way easier, and it's not going to affect the cooler at all. For any reason you replace the solenoids, two of them, and you still getting the same issue, Vanos solenoid codes related to something, the same codes you were getting before you replace the solenoids, and after you still getting this code, that means then it's possible that you are getting a problem with the actual Vanos mechanism. Then it's located inside the engine. So that will require you to remove the whole top area of the engine and some components in the front, so you can get access to it and remove it and replace it. That only happens if this one doesn't fix the problem. But if you replace this one and the problem goes away, that's it, nothing else to do. That is the only thing I have to, share with you after doing knowing all this, because it's possible then some of you are going to get this issue, then you already replaced the solenoids and the problem is still there. So just be sure to know that. If the problem goes away as soon as you replace this one, good, we are good. So I don't know how helpful this video is, but you can take a look how this one looks right now, opened and right here in the area. So the same thing I had done to this one, you have to do to the other side, which is going to be the bank 2. In this case, this is bank 1, and that is bank 2. If you get solenoids, inlet solenoid 2 is going to be this one. If you get inlet solenoid 1, it's going to be in this side. So that is going to be very important. And inlet and outlet, as I said before, is going to be the top for the inlet and the bottom one for the outlet. Component, you have to remove the hoses. Coolant, you don't have to do major disassembly of the bottom. Everything got to be over here, nothing else. And just be sure that whenever you're putting everything together, don't leave any things like this, like a rack there, because that it can actually cause a problem if you don't do it properly. And as always, if you have any questions, just be sure to comment below. There you can leave all the questions. Probably you also have the answer to those questions, so answer those questions. And it's very important for you, then if you have any question then you want to ask me directly, go to Instagram, and there you can look for me, Francisco Maya YouTube. There you can ask me anything directly. Just be patient at the moment of answering your questions, and please have the specific questions and specific information that I need to answer those questions, because it's not so easy sometimes digging into getting the answer to your questions. So that's why it's better to have all the information like cuts, pictures, videos, or anything that can help to give me an idea of what's the issue on your vehicle. Later we're gonna be doing another video on this other 750 over here that is having transmission issues, so that way you can see more information related to these machines. And you know, all information helps, and we are trying to help you. And if you want to help us, you can subscribe to the channel, or if you want to help me even more, you can see the description of the channel. I have details how to send support to the channel. We can create content like this for all of you that want to learn more about these machines. Thank you for watching.